Hello dear Libra, something extraordinary is happening right now in your life. True love and a financial breakthrough are arriving at the same time, and the universe wants you to be ready. You're not watching this video by accident. In fact, the very moment you clicked on it, you answered a spiritual calling that's been whispering to you for days, maybe even weeks. And what you're about to hear could shift everything. Let me ask you something, Libra. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to be deeply loved while also receiving a wave of abundance so big, it changes your entire reality? That question isn't just poetic, it's prophetic. Because in this moment, under the radiant sun in Libra and the emotionally rich energy of the Cancer moon, you're entering a rare divine window. A sacred alignment. A portal where blessings don't come in halves, but in waves, synchronized, powerful, and undeniable. Maybe you've been sensing this shift already. Feeling a little overwhelmed, a little lost, like you're carrying invisible weight on your shoulders. That's not weakness. That's awareness. Your soul is preparing to receive. You're at the edge of a miraculous intersection, where heaven's timing and your silent inner prayers finally meet. And that's exactly what this reading is about. Here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot, we go far beyond surface-level astrology. We dive deep into the sacred intersection of cosmic energy, tarot wisdom, practical self-healing, and spiritual alignment. This isn't just a reading, it's a roadmap for what your spirit already knows and your mind is about to discover. Libra, you are being chosen to receive not one, but two divine activations. A love that touches your soul, not just your skin, and a flow of money that supports your highest good. You're about to experience what most people only dream of, emotional fulfillment and financial alignment arriving together. But you must be open, alert, and grounded. That's why I invite you right now to pause, take a breath, and comment the number 888 below if you're ready to receive both love and wealth in divine timing. This isn't just engagement, it's a spiritual handshake. A signal to the universe that you're ready to receive. Let me also take a sacred moment to thank you for showing up, for watching, for trusting. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps us continue creating these deeply transformational messages. Your presence here is a part of something bigger, a spiritual family that's growing stronger every day. And trust me, Libra, you'll want to stay with me until the very last second of today's message. Because what the universe is about to reveal is breathtaking. You may have prayed for clarity, for a miracle, or simply for peace, but what's coming is all of that and more. Love that melts walls. Money that finds you effortlessly. And an unseen hand of divine timing, gently turning everything in your favor. So take a deep breath. Settle in. And let's open the door together. There are moments in life when everything shifts, not because we tried harder or pushed further, but because something within us silently said yes. Yes to healing. Yes to receiving. Yes to being ready. For Libra, this is one of those rare thresholds when the universe stops asking you to choose between fulfillment in love or financial breakthrough, and instead offers both in a single divine rhythm. It's not a test of worthiness. It's a moment of alignment. A moment when the heart and the harvest appear side by side, like two sacred guests finally arriving at the same table. Energetically, Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, balance, and also value. That means every Libra carries a deep soul contract to experience harmony in both emotional and material realms. But often, one comes while the other struggles. Love shows up when the bank account runs dry, or the career finally blossoms but the heart feels lonely. That's why this part of the reading is so sacred. It reveals that you are stepping into a rare moment when the scales no longer swing back and forth, but finally settle in beautiful equilibrium. The tarot cards surrounding you now, Two of Pentacles, the Lovers, and Ten of Pentacles mirror this moment of profound convergence. The Two of Pentacles often shows a figure juggling two coins. It's not just about finances, it's about balancing inner and outer worlds, responsibilities and desires. The Lover's card reminds us that connection isn't just romantic, it's also the decision to fully align with what is right, what is soul-honoring. And the Ten of Pentacles? That is legacy. That is everything you've planted in faith, finally blooming in real time. It's generational healing. It's prosperity shared and multiplied. I've seen this exact alignment unfold in real lives, like a woman I once read for, a Libra herself, who had quietly carried heartbreak and financial stress for years. She had prayed, not for wealth, but for clarity. Not for a person, but for peace. And on the night of a full moon, she wrote down her desire, to feel whole again. Within a week, her former partner, someone who had left unresolved words and a tangled past, reached out, offering both apology and closure. On that same day, she received legal confirmation that a long-delayed financial judgment had finally ruled in her favor. She didn't force it. She simply aligned. That's the power of inner permission and cosmic timing. This isn't magic in the sense of wands and wishes. It's the deeper rhythm of life we often forget to hear, the divine echo that answers when you trust enough to stop controlling every outcome. I believe that blessings are not rewards for perfection, but invitations. They ask you to step into receiving not with pride, but with readiness. And when your heart is soft enough to receive love, it often becomes strong enough to handle abundance too. There's a quiet passage I return to often in moments like this. It reminds us that when we pour out what little faith we have, it is returned to us not in equal measure, but pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Sometimes all it takes is the willingness to believe that life is not always asking you to struggle in order to be blessed. Sometimes, it's simply asking you to stay open when the blessings finally arrive. So if your life has been divided lately between survival and desire, between giving and receiving, know that this part of the reading is not about choosing. It's about becoming whole enough to carry both. Let this message land where it needs to. You don't need to figure it out right now. Just let it stir something ancient and knowing within you. You're not being tested. You're being trusted. And all you have to do is say yes. There's something incredibly sacred about realizing you're no longer alone, not just in the physical sense, but in the soul's deepest language. When you've spent so long being your own shelter, your own sanctuary, the idea of someone stepping into your world not to complete you, but to meet you where you already are, can feel both beautiful and terrifying. Libra, this part of your journey speaks to that delicate unfolding, the kind that doesn't announce itself loudly, but instead arrives quietly, like sunlight finding a window that's been closed for years but never forgotten. As a sign ruled by Venus, you are no stranger to connection. You crave beauty, balance, and emotional resonance. But because of this, you also feel the weight of imbalance more deeply than most. You know what it's like to give more than you receive. To hold space for others while no one quite understands how to hold space for you. This phase you're entering now is not just about romance, it's about sacred recognition. It's about being seen in ways that don't require you to shrink, perform, or pretend. Someone is arriving who doesn't want to fix you or save you. They simply want to stand beside you in your truth. The High Priestess appears now to remind you that the answers you seek about love have always been within. That deep pull in your chest, that inner knowing that someone is out there who feels like home. It isn't fantasy, it's intuition. The Two of Cups echoes that truth, showing you the potential of a union that is not built on intensity or chaos, but on mutual clarity. A kind of steady, soul-nourishing connection that allows you to rest without losing your independence. And then comes the King of Swords, a symbol of someone who not only carries wisdom but uses it with intention. This is someone who leads with both intellect and integrity, someone who speaks the truth not to dominate, but to invite you into safety. It's worth noting that this connection may not come wrapped in fireworks. It may not look like the stories you've been told about passion and drama. Instead, it may feel disarmingly calm. Safe. Like silence that finally makes sense. And for someone like you, who's had to develop such strength through solitude, this kind of softness can be a radical form of healing. I've witnessed this kind of love emerge in the most unexpected places. I remember a woman, also a Libra, who had sworn off relationships after years of choosing people who only saw the surface of her light. She poured her love into work, family, faith. Anything but partnership. Then, one afternoon, while volunteering at a community center, she met someone doing the most mundane task, handing out flyers. It wasn't cinematic. It wasn't instant sparks. But he asked her how her day was and meant it. He remembered the name of her dog. He didn't try to impress her. He just showed up, again and again. And one day, she realized the door she thought she'd locked had quietly opened without force. Because the right person doesn't ask to be let in. They simply wait at the threshold, gently honoring the lock, until your spirit is ready to turn the key. If you're listening now and feel a part of you stirring at these words, I invite you to honor that. You don't have to rush. You don't have to be certain. You just have to soften, even a little. And if you feel called to open the door, comment below, I open my heart. Not for anyone else, but for yourself. As a declaration that you are ready to be met, not saved. Seen, not judged. Held, not controlled. Remember, love that touches the soul rarely knocks. It listens. And when the time is right, it enters with reverence. Sometimes we wait so long for something to shift that we begin to wonder if the seeds we planted were ever real to begin with. But just because the soil was quiet didn't mean nothing was happening. Libra, you've spent seasons tending to your growth behind the scenes, doing the work that no one clapped for, showing up when no one noticed, and believing in your value even when nothing physical seemed to confirm it. That time has not been wasted. It has been sacred preparation. And now, as Jupiter, the planet of expansion, ends its retrograde motion, something dormant within your financial energy is beginning to move again. Astrologically, Jupiter turning direct is like a locked gate creaking open. It doesn't explode open, but it no longer resists your momentum. For you, dear Libra, this transit doesn't just bring new opportunities, it reawakens old ones. Delayed money. Unfinished cycles. Past efforts. Everything that once seemed paused is quietly finding its path back to you. The tarot cards mirror this energetic shift. The Nine of Pentacles signals personal abundance. The Ace of Pentacles speaks of fresh beginnings in material form, and the World confirms full circle completion. What you've invested, whether in time, trust, talent, or fate, is now ready to return with interest. You might notice this not as a dramatic lottery moment, but as a sequence of events that finally start falling into place. A refund you forgot about arrives. A side project you almost gave up on suddenly gains attention. Someone who owed you money, recognition, or fairness unexpectedly pays what they promised. These aren't coincidences. They're the universe's way of confirming that your inner work is always matched by outer reward when the timing is aligned. Think of it like this: you planted your intentions during a long winter. You showed up, even when you didn't see results. You protected your vision when no one else believed in it. Now, the light is shifting. The harvest isn't just coming, it's already begun. And you don't need to do more to prove your worthiness. You only need to receive what's already been growing beneath the surface. In the real world, I've seen this happen in the quietest, most unassuming ways. I once spoke with a woman who, after years of freelancing and being underpaid, had finally accepted that she might always struggle. But something told her not to give up. She kept showing up for her work, pouring her energy into projects that didn't pay much yet felt aligned with her purpose. One day, out of nowhere, a client she hadn't spoken to in over a year referred her to a corporate contract that completely changed her income bracket. Not because she chased it, but because she stayed ready. Sometimes, abundance doesn't roar. It whispers. And it comes to those who have trained their hearts to remain open even when nothing seems to be happening. If you've been seeing the number 888 lately, take it as a nudge. This is the angelic code for prosperity, the kind that flows in when you're finally in energetic alignment with your own self-worth. As a simple practice, take a moment today to write down 3 things you've done, big or small, that never got the recognition they deserved. Hold those actions in your heart like currency, because they are. They are the vibrational anchors of the money that's now moving toward you. You're not starting from zero, Libra. You've already earned it. Now is simply the time to let it land. Not every form of exhaustion comes from doing too much. Sometimes, the fatigue we feel is a sacred sign that something greater is approaching, and our bodies are preparing to hold it. Libra, after the emotional heart opening and the reawakening of financial flow, it's no surprise that your system feels overwhelmed. You're not broken. You're expanding. An expansion even into joy, love, and abundance can feel strangely heavy at first. Your body, your nervous system, and your heart are all recalibrating to a new vibration. That's why you might feel restless at night, even after a calm day. Or suddenly tearful for no reason. Or like you're standing still in your life, but your inner world is spinning fast. This isn't dysfunction. It's preparation. The body is the bridge between the spiritual and the material. It carries the signals before the mind understands them. When miracles are on the horizon, the body sometimes tightens, not because it resists, but because it senses how much is about to shift. If you've been waking up at odd hours, feeling ungrounded, or losing focus even in moments of stillness, it may not be anxiety. It may be alignment. There is such a thing as emotional altitude sickness, when you rise so quickly in energy that your body needs a moment to catch up. And for someone like you, Libra, whose soul naturally seeks balance, these unexplainable fluctuations can feel particularly intense. But there's something you can do. In fact, there are small, sacred practices that help your system integrate the blessings that are coming, so they don't feel like chaos, but like calm. One of the simplest tools is breath. Not forced or patterned, just intentional. Lay down, place one hand over your heart, and breathe deeply 5 times. As you do, let your mind drop back into your body. Feel what it's holding. Feel what it's ready to release. Sometimes the breath doesn't fix the feeling, but it reminds you that you're safe to feel it. Another gentle shift: start your day with warm water and lemon. Not for detoxing in the trendy sense, but to signal to your body that the day is beginning with clarity. This activates your digestive system, yes, but also your emotional readiness. When your physical body feels tended to, it is more willing to trust the waves of the unseen. And if you're craving something sweet, pause to ask yourself whether it's sugar your body wants or soothing your soul needs. In times of energetic transition, many people unconsciously lean on stimulants or processed foods to fill a void they don't fully understand. But the real medicine is often simpler: magnesium-rich greens, grounding soups, early sleep. These small acts of care become sacred when they're done with awareness. Not because you're trying to fix anything, but because you're listening. And when we listen to our bodies, we create space for grace to enter. I once heard someone say that when we stop performing and start receiving, miracles move faster. And I believe that. I've seen it. So if you're feeling tired, unmotivated, or even slightly disoriented lately, don't judge it. Don't fight it. Honor it. These are not symptoms of failure. They are signs of recalibration. You're not doing something wrong. You're preparing to hold something right. And if you felt any of these things recently, if your body has been speaking to you in quiet but persistent ways, I invite you to share that in the comments. Let's name it together. Let's create a space where healing doesn't mean hiding the struggle, but honoring what the struggle is trying to say. There comes a point in every journey where the universe pauses, not to test us, but to ask a simple, quiet question: are you truly ready to choose what is meant for you? Libra, after all you've walked through, the emotional release, the financial shift, the physical recalibration, this is that moment. And while it may seem like the hardest part is over, what comes now is perhaps even more important: your conscious participation in your own unfolding. You see, when blessings start arriving, love, money, healing, it's not uncommon for old energies to suddenly resurface. Not because they belong in your future, but because they're asking to be released for good. A familiar face might show up with the same charm, the same promises, even the same perfectly timed smile. But look closely. Is it real this time, or is it a reflection of who you used to be? Likewise, a financial opportunity may drop into your lap that seems irresistible on the surface, yet feels oddly misaligned in your body. The appearance of abundance is not the same as true prosperity. Not everything that glitters is divine timing. The cards guiding this phase, the Devil, Judgment, and the Queen of Swords, are a clear reminder that discernment is your greatest ally now. The Devil card often represents a seductive loop, a pattern disguised as passion, or a deal dressed as destiny. It's not evil, it's familiar. And what is familiar can be dangerous when we've grown beyond it. Judgment asks you to pause before reacting. To look at the full story. To ask, have I seen this before? And more importantly, Who was I the last time I said yes to this? Then comes the Queen of Swords. She's not cold. She's clear. She sees with both wisdom and boundaries. She is you, when you honor your growth by refusing to shrink again. This part of the journey is not about proving anything to anyone, not even yourself. It's about trusting that you don't need to settle, chase, or justify. You get to choose now. Choose differently. Choose from a healed place. And that choice will be the doorway to the kind of future that doesn't just feel exciting but feels peaceful. It's not enough for something to look good. It has to be right for your nervous system. Right for your spirit. Right for the version of you that's no longer willing to relive old lessons for the sake of comfort. I've witnessed this exact threshold in people from all walks of life. There was a woman I once guided through this very turning point, also a Libra, who kept attracting the same type of love story, magnetic at first, but draining in the long run. Then one day, someone from her past returned, speaking all the right words. She almost said yes. But she paused. This time, she felt something she hadn't before: clarity. It wasn't rejection. It was peace. She chose to wait. And months later, someone new arrived, not just different in behavior, but different in energy. She told me later, it wasn't that the new person was better. It was that I was finally aligned enough to receive what I actually deserved. So if you've been here before, on the edge of a decision that feels like déjà vu, I invite you to make a sacred declaration today. If you've learned the lesson, say it aloud, or write it in the comments. This time, I choose differently. Not to punish the past, but to honor your future. Let that choice be anchored in your aura with intention. Surround yourself with the energies that support that decision, maybe wearing sapphire blue to center your emotions, or golden tones to remind you of the wealth that flows through aligned decisions. You are not being forced to accept anything. You are being invited to receive everything, but only what truly reflects your worth. And that, Libra, is the most powerful kind of free will you can ever practice. If you've made it here, dear Libra, then maybe, just maybe, something inside you already knew. That this wasn't just a video. That this was a mirror. A message. A moment. You see, miracles are never random. They don't fall into the laps of those who chase endlessly, or scream the loudest. They arrive to the ones who are still enough to receive. The ones who have walked through fire and still keep their hearts open. And that means you. Everything we've explored together, your capacity for soul-deep love, the financial harvest unfolding beneath your feet, the quiet exhaustion that precedes expansion, the sacred responsibility of choosing what aligns with your truth, all of it has been preparing you for this truth. Your life is about to reflect the energy you've spent years cultivating. Not because you've earned it in the eyes of others, but because you've aligned with it inside yourself. Let me ask you something. What would change if, starting today, you believed that the universe was no longer testing you but trusting you? What would shift in your heart if you knew that the things you've prayed for have already started moving toward you? That the delay wasn't denial, it was divine timing, preparing the capacity inside you to actually hold what's coming? Because that's what this moment is. A turning point. A subtle but powerful invitation for you to say yes, not just with your voice, but with your vibration. And when you do, when you really decide that you are ready to receive both love and abundance without apology, everything starts to rearrange around that decision. the people you meet, the choices you make, the energy you attract. All of it begins to reflect the version of you who is no longer waiting to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. And so I'll gently challenge you now. What is one thing you can do tonight, even if it's small, to show the universe that you are ready? Can you light a candle and speak your desire out loud? Can you journal the words, "I am open," and let that intention ripple outward? Can you shift one habit, one thought, one doubt, into a softer space of belief? And if something stirred inside you while watching this, if your heart whispered, yes, at any point, then I lovingly invite you to anchor that energy by commenting below. I receive both love and money with a peaceful heart. Let it be your echo, your declaration, your digital signature in the book of becoming. Before you go, let me say thank you truly. For watching. For showing up. For walking this path with me. Every like, every comment, every subscription you offer isn't just support, it's a signal to the universe that these conversations matter. That healing matters. That connection matters. You are now part of the Zodiac Whisper Tarot family, and this sacred space exists because of beautiful souls like you who dare to believe in something more. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this message spoke to your spirit. There are more whispers coming. More doors to open. More light to hold. And Libra, you deserve all of it. Not someday. Now.